Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha. So as I continue my journey of recycling through bands and artists that I've already heard, Polyphia, I've talked about not only the band but also the, I guess would be the primary writer and composer, which would be Tim Henson, this just magically talented guitar player. And so without further gushing, we're going to get right on this. But I look forward to this because every time I listen to something of his, it's always it takes my experience, my sonic experience, to another level. I want to thank everybody for the comments. Continue leaving the names of the bands you want in there. Don't put the links in there. I'm realizing that when you put the links in there, 90% of them are not even going to my held for review thing, and even that's been acting really weird. So for those of you who are saying, hey man, I'm putting links, you can do that. I want to thank those of you who have already bought me a cup of coffee. I can't tell you how stoked I am, and I feel so grateful to even be doing this, and thanks for responding, because you know my channel's not monetized. And also AKG 240s, the link will be below, the coffee link below, the link for Polyphia's music and Spotify will also be below. So, without further ado, all right. All right, this is very complex answer back melodic composition in here. And when I mean complex, I'm not talking about the amount of notes in a phrase or something like that. I'm not even necessarily talking about the key structure of the chord changes. Without me going into I don't feel like I'm not Adam Neely and I'm not Rick Beato, I think Beato. Those guys go into the theoretical breakdowns. I'm more of the visceral breakdown for the listeners and what are they listening to and stuff. Let's just start first with that hybrid orchestrated entrance. Caught me off guard because the other tracks I heard from Polyphia has been, you know, they really hit you right off, you know, the start with the People's Elbow. It was really kind of nice. It kind of set a tone when composers do things like that that are out of the ordinary. It sets a tone for something that's coming, and what it does is kind of desensitizes you to whatever was around you before you hit start, and then that phrase, that hybrid orchestrated piece, really sat nicely. And for me, being a composer, I was enjoying, you know, the phrasing of it, the nice move arounds that I was doing, and the arpeggiations or the ostinato, if little patterns and stuff going on there. And then obviously once the percussion hit, I knew that there was going to be obviously a change, and I just didn't know where it was going to come. One of the things that I find really groundbreaking for the band and how they do what they do is everything lives in a perfect place in the engineering and the composition. The purposeful hard split left and right, two guitar players of equal talent as far as musicianship, skill set, and everything. The melodies, and I want to stress the melodies in the phrasing are so well written. I'm not going to gush or goober too much, but these are melodies that repeat, and it gives you time to settle into a phrase. Instrumental, a lot of times instrumental music of any kind. Sometimes it just feels like, big solos, set up big solos, hook solos, big solos. I'm not hearing a lot of solos thus far as much as I am melodic phrasing. And like I said, everything is living in a perfect place with its engineering. So Polyphia and their production and engineering people, and I'm going to lean on, probably it's Tim as a leader in that process. Really make sure that split is represented significantly without taking away from the creativity and the playing of the drums and the bass. The drums and the bass are extremely important in pieces of music like this, because otherwise this would just sound like a bunch of arpeggiated work that just doesn't have any life. I think what I just said was kind of redundant. I mean, it's a band, and that's why I said, but I hear them crystal clear. The engineering is crystal clear. The tone of the guitars, whatever it is that Tim and the other guitar player, how they dial up, whether it's from Axe effects or whatever mic damps and stuff, these are very unique sounding tones for the guitar, and especially for the kind of playing that they do with a lot of the tapping, pull on, pull off, sweeps and stuff, very consistent with the tone. And finally, I was going to say something else. I'm having a old decomposer moment here. Oh, crap. Anyhow, I'll circle back to it, but yeah, let me circle back to it. Drugs are bad. Something else I wanted to bring up really quick. I just remembered what I was brain farting about. Right before I made that last stop, there was a sequence going on in the background. At least in the recording process, they're not afraid of layering the guitars. As far as it being played back in live, not the piece of work within itself, but the depth of the layering. Unless they, and I've never been to a show, so I don't know what they sound like live, except for videos I've seen. And they play this, or they can play, without a doubt, this is not bullshit here. Even though I know a lot of people say, well, he writes in a chunked way with computers. I don't care. God bless you. Go, knock yourselves out. That's the movement. People are at home working. They write in all different situations. And if you're just sitting on a DAW and piecing it together and stuff like that, then I don't care. Look what happens. This is what's delivered. The other thing that I heard too, I wanted to bring up is they elected to keep in some trap sounding, hi-hats and things that are going on. So the drummer's still doing it, but you could still hear hi-hats that are kind of cycling left to right and unique percussive arrangements that are happening that are electronic in the background. So I just wanted to bring that up really quick because I remembered what it was I was going to say. All right, here we go. the end. What a trippy ending. Oh, I love that little, you know, piano out kind of a thing. I thought that was really super cool. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is that the one of the reasons why the mix works so well, and remember I was talking about the tone of the guitar, you know, the guitar playing is forward. It's in the cans, it is the most forward in the mix, with the support of the drums and the bass. In order to, I believe, because of the intense technique and composition, in order to really pull that off is to have this unique tone that they have with the guitar. They're really celebrating the guitar playing. Obviously, that's the core instrument of the melody. The repeat hook, da 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 da. Excuse me, extremely catchy. It's in my head right now, and it keeps cycling. And then I want to go back again, just really quick, to the hi-hats. Listen to the intricate, you know, parts of the composition, at least in the recorded version here, of hearing that hi-hat kind of, you know, while the drummer is still going off. And then I love the subtleness of actually his solo, what seemed to have been a solo section, while the main guitar stayed hard left and right. When he soloed, I think he had it up into his neck pickup, because it was a very warm sound, very tasteful. Because I have seen videos of him that can just absolutely just go crazy, and I, you know, for me, instrumental music, unless you're listening to Yanni or something, it's not necessarily something that you just kind of put on and enjoy in the background. You're really enjoying the musicianship and the performance ability and the skill set of the musicians in the composition. So I think this is my third video on Polyphia. And I'm just going to keep going with these guys. It's just amazing. I think my last remark is just knowing that they put that string arrangement at the beginning, and it just that integration. It's just kind of fun to know that it's not being left out. The orchestrated, even if it's hybrid, if it's not real strings, it doesn't matter. The essence of it, you know. I just love the fact that they're doing it. And I also heard a little bit of a string arrangement towards the very end. So at least it's good to know that younger composers, though they're, you know, have the tools at their disposal with modules and all kinds of stuff, and with your DAW and all stuff, that there's still a bit of compositional spirit out there to go beyond a band and say, hey, I wonder what happens if I add some strings here and do this and whatever. And so that to me is still the push of the creativity of Tim Henson and the band here. So anyhow, that's it. I got one more coming up in about 4 or 5 hours. Hang in there. If you're still here, type in, I'm still here. If you're not, what the fuck? No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much for those of you who have bought a cup of coffee, those of you who might in the future. I really appreciate it. All right.